Hey guys, we're here today with Bryan Greenham from Valiant Space at UQ Ventures. Really excited to be here today.
Yeah, awesome.
Now, what do you guys do? Tell us what you do here.
So Valiant Space is a propulsion company. So we make rocket engines that are used for in-space propulsion. So moving satellites around when they're in orbit and for landing payloads on the moon as well.
Brilliant. So in layman's terms, then basically whatever comes out of the back of the rocket is to make the rocket go forward.
Yes.
Or propulsion engine system of rockets, right?
Yeah, so when you imagine, a rocket like what SpaceX does, the engines right down the bottom that are flowing out high temperature, high velocity gases, that pushes the rocket forward. We make a kind of engine that is used for once you're in space already.
I'm with you. Because we saw the SpaceX launch earlier in the week, which was pretty cool stuff, right? Now we had a crack doing our own rocket engines, not really using the fuel you guys are using, but more about bicarb soda and vinegar and stuff like that, which worked sort of okay.
Yeah, awesome.
So the space you're in, pardon the pun, right? Is it quite tricky to do these things? It sounds like a tricky thing to do.
Yeah, so making a rocket engine by itself is pretty hard to do. So it's pretty complicated, it gets really hot, there's lots of high pressure stuff. And when you take that rocket engine, off the ground and into space, things just get harder. So it's very difficult to test a system that's going into space without actually going to space to do it.
That's so cool. Now, when we did our remarkable test, we did that in the backyard. Now, I assume you guys can't just walk out here and test this in the backyard. Where do you test these things?
So we've tested our engine in outback Queensland. So I guess it's just like a big backyard. We need a lot of space to make sure that there's nobody close to the engine in case something was to go wrong. But essentially we set it up, we load it with fuel just like you put your bicarb soda in there, and then we ignite the engine and perform tests.
And off it goes.
Space
is a big thing at the moment. We see what SpaceX is doing, there's a lot of hype around this stuff and it's amazing stuff. So for kids sitting at home watching this stuff, might be in primary, secondary school going, this looks really, really cool. Where do you start? Where did you start your journey to get into this stuff?
Yeah, well, when I was in high school, I had the geekiest thing ever, which was chemistry club at school, where one of my teachers said, okay, let's just go and do random experiments at lunchtime. And we got to play around with, the more fun stuff, the touchpad and things like that, which you might not be allowed to do today. But I guess that just sparked the interest for me. Fast forward a few years later, I decided to formalize that education. So I came in and got an engineering degree at the University of Queensland.
Brilliant.
And now I have the formal skills to be able to do complicated mathematics and physics that's required to build a rocket.
Now, when we do rocketry here around Queensland too, there's some great associations around too. Like we do a lot of the Queensland Rocketry Society, a big shout out for those guys. We can actually go out there for the day and build a rocket, put a rocket engine in there, and under very sort of safe circumstances, launch a rocket up in the sky. So those things are pretty cool things to try as well, right?
Yeah, before I started building liquid rocket engines, I was making solid fueled hobby rockets. And it's the best way to start. Pretty exciting.
That's exciting stuff. Now we're just going to wrap it up with Bryan. Thank you so much for having us out here.
Yeah, my pleasure.
For you to tell your story and see what you guys are doing.
Yep.
So back to you guys. We'll see you later.